Well, hey everyone, it's Nate. Today's Wednesday, August 9th, 2023, and I've got some tough news, which many of you may have already heard. Sixto Rodriguez, best known from the movie Searching for Sugarman, passed away at age 81. Now, the good news is that Mr. Rodriguez left us some marvelous music that is as wonderful and touching today as it was when he recorded it in the 1970s. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the work of Rodriguez, pull up a copy of the album Cold Fact, and ideally take some time to watch the movie Searching for Sugarman for his incredible story. Now, in December of 2018, I was absolutely honored to be able to spend some time with Mr. Rodriguez and conduct the interview that I'm going to be playing shortly. Now, I had spent months setting up this interview, and after several false starts and reschedules, we finally caught up with each other while he was on tour, dialing in from a hotel in Washington, D.C. And he and I spent over 40 minutes discussing music, records, recordings, and he shares his many views of the world. Now, I originally published this interview on my Patreon page, and it was only for my Patreon supporters as a Christmas gift for that year. But today, in honor of the man, I'm sharing the full interview with everyone. We'll be totally commercial free. I'm uploading this interview in high resolution, so each of you can hopefully hear every word he says as clearly as possible. Now, a quick note before we start. Sixto was in his late 70s when the interview was conducted, and he jumps around topics a little bit, but that's okay. It's perfectly understandable, and he's very keen to share what was on his mind. Also of note, the interview does come to a rather abrupt end when he decided it was time to hand the phone back to his manager and do something else. Again, I'm only sharing this for context for when you come to that part of the recording. So with that, please enjoy the Vinyl Guide interview with Sixto Sugarman Rodriguez.
Yes, sir. Mr. Goiter, how are you?
I'm doing unbelievable. How are you?
Good. And tell me about yourself, sir. I mean it because then I can give my interview to you. You're in Australia.
I am in Australia. I'm originally from the U.S., and
Where?
I moved to Australia 20 years ago. I was from California.
Ah, that's close.
Yes, yeah. So I've been in Australia nearly 20 years, but I don't sound like an Australian.
No, you wouldn't. Not born in America. They would pick you out right away, right?
That's right.
You have a different attitude, and I don't like that 18-year-old drinking age in Australia. This one lady described that she went to the bar and saw an 18-year-old girl with an older man. So that's what it fosters. And so I don't like predatory kind of behavior like in America, guns so freely available. And you see, sir, I am Mr. Goyer. I describe myself as a musical political. So I talk to the issues of currents, which are the same issues we've always had. It's not kill or be killed. It's live and let live. And these young buds are in the news. And so is other issues. So are other issues rather. That's who I am. I do music, but the content of my material is political and social issues.
I guess you could say you do music, but you're still a human. You still think about
Better said, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, this show is going to go out to many people around the world, and so let me go ahead and start. And if you need a rest, let me know, and we'll go for maybe.
What do you want from this interview? I want to give you what you want. I know it's who are you, what are you, and etc.
Sure.
But you can help me out through it because I know it's you. People are only allowed so much time. So thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to interview Mr. Goyer.
No worries. Well, our audience, they're record collectors, and they're music fans. And obviously there's a brilliant story in the movie, but we want to also look into a few things that the movie wasn't able to talk about. For instance, your first single, and maybe some of your reaction when you started hearing about all the people on the other side of the earth that were appreciating your music. and of course, what you've been up to since. So,
Okay.
I'll go ahead and start, and we'll have a nice conversation here. All right. So today is an amazing day here on the Vinyl Guide. We have one of the most fascinating musicians and artists of the 20th and 21st centuries, Mr. Sixto Sugarman Rodriguez. How are you today, Mr. Rodriguez?
Mr. Goya, thank you for the opportunity to interview.
Oh, we're very pleased, very pleased. Now, your life has been very astounding, as told in the movie "Searching for Sugarman." And for the listeners who've never seen it, I'm asking you to please put this interview on pause and go find this movie. It's an incredible story. But before we get into what's happened since, I'd like to understand from your early days, what was your early life like?
Let's see. I'm in my solid 70s. And so I cover a lot of territory, which these are decades of. See, I'm at that point where I've got a lot of experience. So vinyl has come back as a medium of exchange, communication, and music, and such. And so I welcome that kind of reintroduction for that through that medium. But they have now, sir, they have digital. So that's another way artists, musicians can get global immediately. See, vinyl is and cassettes, so forth. They still work, and that's good. And through that vinyl, music has prospered and will prosper. When times are good, music goes up. When times are bad, music goes up. And it's a global market. So, sir, all you need is one hit, you know. And so I was in Australia in '79 and '81, and thanks to the writers like Glenn A. Baker, who wrote for Billboard as editor-in-chief of Australia market and the surrounding area, New Zealand, such, he exposed me to the, and also Holger Brockman, a DJ on Triple J. It started playing me at midnight. So I got known there, and I toured in '79, '81, which is not in the film because that wasn't the direction of the filmmaker.
That's right.
And I had nothing to do. I had nothing to do with the making of that film. I'm only in it 8 minutes. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm trying to put that in a framework. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be in the film 4 times, and when I saw them come over in February, and they were filming me through the alley, you know, the place. And so I decided to get involved with the film. My daughter is the one who initiated the making of that film. In fact, much of the footage is hers. So I had nothing to do with the making of the film. So I got a lot of promotion from that medium. And so
you got an Oscar as well, is that right?
Oh, it's an award, yes, sir. And also in Moscow and Australia and I got a lot of awards, yes, sir.
Wow.
In Italy too. Yeah, see, I'll tell you the magic of Mr. Goya. I'll tell you the magic of it, okay? May I?
Sure, please.
Thank you. The Sundance Film Festival, a 10-day festival in America, you know, California, or rather Utah. That was 10-day festival. It was picked as documentary of the year. Oh, and the other thing is, then we had Sony Pictures Classics, and we had Sony Legacy, and we had Sony Home Video, and the movies translated into other languages. So the global aspect of those divisions and those, that's why it's a hit. You know, I mean, those are serious people making films, you know, and see, we're in a category of this Hollywood who's fiction. I'm not into fiction. And so that kind of thing is, there's no hang up about being this serious. And so I'm more serious as I'm in the solid 70s than ever before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for fun talking to you because, yeah, we're going to get out into Australia too. We're getting some offers. And thanks for the opportunity again to interview because we're global, man. We're global. And so Yeah.
That's right.
And so what you say to me, and I don't talk to you any different than I talk to anyone else, because I don't have. Not in that category. Hey.
Well, you are certainly loved around the world, and we look forward to seeing you here in Australia. And it's interesting you bring up Australia because in 79 and 80, a very similar thing happened in Australia, which is shown in the movie from South Africa. You had a big fan base in Australia that you didn't even know existed until you came down here. Is that right?
Correct. And my first occasion in Australia was we had the Regent Theater. It sold out 4 times, and the 5th time it was half full. So the promotions promoted like that, and so I surfaced in Australia first, and like I said, it was in the film, but I had nothing to do with the making of the film. But it was factual. It was nonfiction. That's what documentaries are, journalistic in its aspect. And the filmmaker asked the hard questions to the. So yeah, it was good. I think it got all over the world. See, I didn't get a movie. I had a hit movie. See, and those are the difference between it. You have to get distribution. You have to get it around, And so I'm explaining the success of that was all those people involved.
Yeah.
And I couldn't make it without staff. So a lot of this is not my decisions. They say go here or where, etc. I have handlers. They call them trainers. They call them confidants or liaisons. Yeah, it becomes it's a one-man show until you need 2 people.
Going back to when you were recording Cold Fact and Coming from Reality, the songs that you recorded on those records, were those songs that you had written and performed in the bars for a long time, or were you writing them in the studio as you were recording them?
Oh, I've written this stuff, and the second album I wrote on the kitchen table in London, some of those cuts, because I also had 2 of those songs on Cold Fact are not written by me, and so but I said yes to put them on because it was my first album, and they said I was going to be the first on that label, and that was a big thing to me. So that's why those decisions made there were as like this, it's just now, and so yeah, but I'm real far away from those 2 recordings, and we have a new president in South Africa. So the apartheid thing worked because of the economic boycott, which is being done on North Korea. 15 nations are on that, and we may get a new president very soon.
Okay. Now, going back to your youth, I understand that there was an accident which took part of a finger of your left hand. Does that contribute to the way that you play guitar?
Yeah, well, I've played before I had lost my finger. I was playing, it was an industrial accident. And let's see, I forgot what age I was at that time that happened. But I was playing within 2 weeks of that accident because I can't get hampered by something so physical. And I love music. And the thing is, I'm not the only one that has accomplished this successfully. It was another guy named Django Reinhardt. And you listen to him, he's very fast. And also he plays with another guy who plays violin. And so it's very compatible, the sound. It's like an alto and tenor sax. It's beautiful stuff, And music is an art form, an industry, and a business. And so I'm lucky to be having such success at such a late date.
Oh, it's marvelous. And I've seen from your tour schedule, you are playing some very big venues and they're selling out. And that must be a beautiful feeling for you.
Yeah, but yes. And it's, but I couldn't do it without staff. And also that incident that happened so long ago, I think it's and not many people know about that. So it's all right if they don't know about it, because I didn't want to be judged on my physical appearance per se, but certainly it's true. And others have I admire Ray Charles, Helen Keller, and I can go on with a list of people who have overcome their physical.
That's right.
And writers, journalists, philosophers. I'm not into theology, and someone said religion is the opium of the people, and I think he was clearly right.
Now, early in your career, you also had a 45 single under the name Rodriguez, I'll Slip Away, on Impact Records. Do you recall the story around that record?
This sounds like it sounds like a deposition more than anything, but this interview. But you're correct. I did have a single. I was with a label called Impact Records, and the thing is that it didn't last too long. He was bought up by Motown, so he had other interests, and he put out my first single, and I was introduced to him by a guy named T.J. Fowler, and the thing is, and the rest is, and this is Detroit receives a lot of music, and see, we're on the border of Canada there, and in fact south of Canada, and the thing is, we get a lot. And one of the things I did as a youth, as if you're talking about youth, I would listen to a lot of radio stations, distant stations at night, and I would pick up these southern stations and the like, and now I listen to French stations, and not Quebec, but Quebec, see? And I learned so much through that medium, radio, and the World War One was, they were inventing radio, so forth, 1930s. So that World War II and Civil War and stuff are getting fought in America. And Detroit, is one of those cities that was urban and north of the Mason-Dixon line. See, and these cats are still in that battle, like England with its 13 colonies. And a lot of these concepts, like Jesus, are European in origin. And my people come from Mexico, and that's Mesoamerica. And these are anthropological terms that I got formal education, so I want to be heard. I told them I will service and I will be heard, but now I feel I must be heard.
I think you're definitely being heard these days.
Thank you, sir.
When you write a song,
sir,
do you take the topics from things you know? Like, for example, Sugarman, was that someone that you knew, a character in the neighborhood, perhaps someone you did business with? Do you take your concepts from reality for your songs?
There's nothing beats reality, and these are compositions, musical compositions. There's something called intellectual property, different interpretations of songs. May I say this? Sugarman is a descriptive song, not a prescriptive song. Get your hugs, stay off drugs, stay smart, don't start, listen to your mother and father, you'll be all right. But I'm against the drinking age in Australia being 18.
When it comes to the music of Cold Fact and coming from reality, did you change your songwriting approach between those records?
You see, I had to change the lyrics in the two songs I mentioned because they were written by three people writing a song, and they were just having fun writing songs, see? But I couldn't refuse because it was my first entry as a recording artist. One step from being a musician, one step from being just a writer, one step because then I have a product, you see. And you have to have a product or a service.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in Washington, D.C. At the moment. We're going to perform tomorrow with a full house. I'm performing as a single. And you're right about some of these historical facts about it. But let me give you a few more, sir. Mr.
Sure.
Goya.
Sure.
Go ahead. My brother, Joseph Rodriguez, was on the honor roll with at the coronation of the Queen Elizabeth in London, England. And that's verifiable.
Wow.
And so I have 5 soldiers in my family, sir. And the commander-in-chief evaded draft 4 or 5 times, and he says that he would have behaved in a brave manner if he was in at the shooting in
The Florida.
in Florida. In
Yeah.
Florida, yes, thank you. And he wasn't even interested in signing up for the draft or anything like that, evading the draft, in fact. And the other guy failed medical school, so he is clearly senile in politics.
Yeah. It's interesting because a key theme in your music is and your ethos is fighting injustice. And I think it's odd, maybe even ironic, that for someone like yourself railing against injustice, you are also quietly the victim of injustice within the music industry for many, many years.
We're still in the lawsuit, I'm as a third party, because we have been brought in a lawsuit and through the works of 2 people who are. You mentioned one of them with Impact Records and the other one with Sussex Records, and these facts are verifiable. And the thing is, but I'm into the day. Santiana says, know your past, or you may be bound to relive it. You make the same mistakes. Yeah. And this other philosopher says, forget your past and be today. So you have your choice of where you're at. And no matter how cerebral they're thinking, no matter how celestial they're thinking, their thoughts, no matter how ethnocentric their thoughts, and you only have so much time to figure it out. And then I'm from the mainland. Some people want to go back to the motherland. The other guys want to go back to the fatherland. I am from the mainland. We're a different continent and have a rich history. And 250 years in history is not a long time.
No.
In history. Yeah, and I'm into anthropology. I understand the environment. And with music, which I want everybody to do, etc., because it's natural. I've been able to learn other continents and their ways and so forth. I'm enriched by the fact of music and its power as well. It's a force.
What is the one message you'd like to give the world?
Power to the people. There's the haves and the have-nots. That the script is still clear in history. Oppression brings revolution. They tried it in Mexico. They kicked the French out, but the French were up in Montreal anyway in 1500. They stormed the Bastille, the French Revolution, the American Revolution. We have a gutless commander-in-chief who's senile and needs to be dethroned. It's power to the people. They're marching on Washington March 24th, and I'm there in spirit as well as those songs were in spirit of the depression in South Africa, and they got a new president, and I enjoy the conversation we've had, and thank you again, sir.
Oh,
Mr. Goya, for the opportunity. And vinyl is a coming thing, but we're into digital and so forth. And so one hit is global. So I hope your show reaches London, England, because that's your motherland over there.
we've got people all around the world. We have a lot of South African listeners. We've got a lot of listeners in North Africa, South America.
Shortwave ham radio cassettes were one way as Glenn A. Baker says, victimized by distance.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long flight. That's a long flight, but the word's getting around. Marshall McLuhan said, it's the television that made the world a village.
Yes.
And we've gone past that point. And so, yeah, politics is very interesting. But it's every 2 years in America there's elections, and I play to the indigenous in Australia, and I know its history as well. And and I know people who are new arrivals to Australia. And do you have a passport kind of thing and visa? You have to have a bank account at some point. So, and you guys are also traceable.
Well, certainly with the things that are in the news every day, it must be inspiring you to write new music. Will we see another Rodriguez album?
All I need is one hit record, one hit song, and I don't have to write the hit. I can put my song on the best-selling hit movie. You know, I have a lot of options, and also we all have those permutations, combinations that we can. And I never had it so good.
So what I'm hearing is you are writing, and we may be able to hear some new music at some point?
Yes, sir. And I'm a live act. See, some people just listen to recorded music, and so forth. I'm doing a lot of new writing. Yes, sir, I am, and I can't help it because that's what I do. I write music, but I don't release right now because I'm involved in touring, and so forth. You know, and I have staff, so we all who sacrifice a lot of their time. So we're asking for we're getting to the high price of things, of tickets. So unfortunately, that's the issue there. So we're going to be in London at Royal Albert Hall in September, and they're asking us to do a second show. So I'm giving them a heads up. I will surface and I will be heard. And the thing is, and justice is coming down the road. Yes, and it's real. I'm in Washington D.C., and you can't help but pass the monuments of soldiers. Actual, and really, yes, you know the War Memorial in Melbourne. So, and the thing is, I'm not, and I got an honorary PhD, and the thing is, but there's a whole lot you do not learn in school.
Oh, you have an honorary PhD. You're Dr. Rodriguez.
Yes, sir. According to Wayne State University, and which is a state-funded university. The people pay for that university. It took me 10 years to get my 4-year degree, and I'm glad I learned to read.
All those years that between the rediscoveries of your music, did you still continue to play music on your own? Did you have a guitar?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes. And my first guitar was my brother Jesus' guitar, and that's how I learned it. And the thing is, he would come in home after working because he kept me up from when I was a teeny bopper in my ears, and he saved my life because he was so kind to me. And if I hadn't seen kindness, I would not have that energy, you know. And so the kindness of family and the kindness of strangers and friends, I've been able to get through. And yes, I keep writing, and it's a profession of an art and a curse. You know, you got to keep playing. You know, you got to keep playing and listening, because as much as I love to listen, I love to play. You know. And so I get the opportunity at this stage to play, and Australia picked me up first.
Yes, you're very popular here. There's a record label here called Blue Goose that released the Rodriguez records in the late '70s. All that's all they released is actually the Rodriguez records. Do you know about Blue Goose Records? Who they are?
I know this. It can only happen with the connection with Sussex Records, and the principals involved in that label are the ones that know more about. We got releases in the Barbados, other people doing my stuff, and this cat is still holding on to my funds, and that she has not paid me royalties, and that is actual. And so I'm I'm glad this is coming out, and thank you for asking those questions because they're so everywhere. That people don't give a heck about it anyway. So, but I'm still fighting that issue. But yeah.
Now I know you're in the middle of continued legal battles, and
Yeah.
certainly hope it ends and you're victorious soon. Do you
Thank you.
have the master tapes, or do you know where tapes are of Cold Fact and Coming from Reality?
I have some materials. We've been on the road since 5 years, on and off, not totally every, but we have, and we take those opportunities to travel. I've been to Australia 6 times. I've been to South Africa 6 times. I've been to, and major cities, not little, twice, complete tours, 15 shows and so forth. We've done festivals. And I said with the 8 people, and I have 12 or 15 bands now. 2 in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, England, and Sweden, 3 times in there, and different promoters and different bands, etc. And I've had a lot of experiences through that medium, music, and so, as I said, I think it can help people who get distracted by or have extra energy to play music, write about the.
You've been quoted as saying, because you have bands all over the world, so when you tour, they're your backup bands. I think you said something about you are the most popular cover band of yourself.
Well, I don't know. It's just, and they got bands. They got the bands of their own, you see. And the thing is, I think a lot of my audience are musicians and so forth. But I see a lot of young bloods, and as I said, South Africa is a lot of fans there, and see they developed talk radio because I was new to that idea, where you can call the station, and most stations in Detroit, and there's tons of stations, 20 FM, 20 AM, and plus every other medium. And so a lot of communications out here in Detroit. And so, like I said, I'm urban as opposed to rural, And so I'm from the north who won the war.
As a young man, you must have been tremendously inspired by what was happening around you at the time, the political movements.
By the soldiers in my family, my sister, with her care and kindness to me, yes. I was influenced by my role models, in which very strong people, Mexicans serve. And I've had 5 brothers in my family. 4 brothers in my family served. My daughter served 20 years. And as I said, I'm from the mainland. Mesoamerica, there was a lot of civilization before all this European arrivals and the things, high culture. High civilization. You check out anthropology in Mexico, and you'll see there's a lot of world development here. They developed the zero in Mexico.
Was your family a musical family? Were there records?
Well, music is in every ethnicity. The mother bounces the baby around on her knee to the music and sings to it. It's their primary teacher. And so forth. In Russia, they bound the baby so easier to control, and so forth. Cultural differences are we have some sharp differences and some similarities.
Yes, and I agree. Every culture, every ethnicity has music within them. However, not everyone becomes a musician. So I'm interested to understand how you decided to be on the path of an artist.
Well, thanks. That's a sweet compliment. When I first started out, I met T.J. Flowers through another guy who drank too, and he heard me play, and so he took me to him, and the guy played organ and he like that, but he started me out, and well, anyway, the guy who owned the label called me an artiste, so I appreciate that word. It's real. Treat yourself like an artist, and that. See, take good care of it. And Socrates already got there. He says, "Know thyself." And others to thine own heart be true, And you only got so much time to figure out, I mean, get your rest. 1/3 of you sleeps, and the rest of them take care of business, So yeah, I'm a solid 70. And the thing is, but they get their own impressions, about who I do, what I am, rather. And the thing is, yeah, and I met a lot of indigenous in Australia. And I know Indian land is Indian land. Indigenous, here and those peoples are still around. And it's going to be a long ball game. A euphemism, you would understand this if you're an American. I speak in those terminologies because, it's a card game,
Sure.
We're doing well. We almost got a Royal straight flush. They're asking us to do a second show in Royal Albert Hall. So I mean that's astounding. And we only got the news through the driver who's always in constant. Anorak who works my staff or the staff. We're driving, etc. There was a windstorm, and
that's brilliant. In when you look at the time you have left, the next several years, hopefully the next few decades, what are the most important things you want to accomplish in that time?
Well, thank you, sir. Well, you see, Mr. Goyer, I want to live to be 350 years old.
I want you to live to be 350 as well.
See, but like you, sir, I can only do one day at a time. And if you do one day at a time and one good day at a time, say, well, what you've done, Mr. Goyer, you've done one good day, see? And that's it. See, I aim for that one good day. Something you learn as on the journey, and I'm the luckiest man on earth, man, because I don't have to please the bar down the street or the brewery or a cafe. I'm global, and that's I was like I consider it like Saul on his way to Damascus, and the lightning strikes him because he's tired of killing and all that. And it's not kill or be killed, it's live and let live. And see, you got to respect the other guy's culture. And oppression will bring up change. And there's two kinds of people that get killed. And that's people who want change and those who try to stop change. And that just is coming down the road. And it's real. And so I know the history of Australia as well. They killed a lot of people down there to achieve those means. And it's right down the street from the Fiji Islands, etc. The King of Thailand came to my show.
The King of Thailand?
Sting came to
wow.
Sting came to my show at the Radio City Music Hall. Santana sends roses, 3 dozen. And the thing is, and those cats are the establishment, and I love hearing them because our Brian Adams is from Canada, and Leonard Cohen, rest in peace, and Neil Young, Ohio. So that vinyl was the way those guys got out to the people. So when I mentioned these modern technology, well, it changed the whole picture. And so, some of these superstitions in theology are only to be are not only going to be dispelled in this century.
Do you
And
still listen to records?
I don't listen to music, sir, as much as I study it. Who's singing? What etc. What's the background? What's that lead? Who wrote it? I am deeply in music, and the thing is, proficiency on an instrument, jazz, classical is the same thing. I like the spontaneity of jazz music and country. I like that. And Australia's country, and so is South Africa. But there's a lot of indigenous percussion and coming up from everywhere. The percussion. And so I mentioned the new president in South Africa because I'm today. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's all you can do.
And
see, most people living way in the future, man. and Mother Nature will take care of the President of the United States. Mother Nature. And you remember this, sir. The Mexicans worship the sun, a natural deity, natural science. The other guys come from Europe. They believe in the hierarchies as social organization. They worship. We have corn in America. We have watermelons. We have avocados that's good for many things. Chocolate, coffee. They're still polluting America, and so California is 20 million people. There are a lot of Mexicans, indigenous. Mexico was trading with the Aztecs and trading with North American Indians. And that trail is what they're trying to put this wall through Radio Texas, so the bushes can peek over it or whatever. Ain't they heard of planes? A boy that can put out 17 people and then in a schoolhouse. Come on, this is today. This is not 1979 or 61 or that's what I mean. See, that's all I get. See, and you're talking to I'm solid 70s, man. And the thing is, the same issue is, and we have to protect the land, and we have to protect the children.
So when you are performing the music that you've written many decades ago, what songs or lyrics do you feel are the most relevant still to today's society?
Like I said, I'm still looking for that hit song, and so maybe I'll find it in that. So I'm telling you, and the thing is, I only have so many cracks at this thing, so that's what I mean. Maybe I'll find it in that tune. And the thing is, thank you for the opportunity to interview. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.